Black Sheep Shipping presents The Incredible Machine. Content warnings can be found in the description.
You sure you can finish that, miss? Like I said, I'm happy not to charge if you...
Lay off. Promise you I can. In fact, I'll pay double if it means you will take my word for it.
Ah, very good.
The article you're reading must not be very interesting.
What makes you say that?
You keep peeping at me from over the top of that rag.
Forgive me, ma'am. I'm not much of a traveler. I'm not used to seeing the fairer sex drink outside the ladies' room at a hotel bar like this.
Used to the saloons, huh? Well, welcome to New York. They even let us outside the house once in a while. But don't get too friendly. Bank's closed.
Oh, you mistake me, ma'am. I wasn't thinking anything untoward. You do seem like an educated woman, and I was just wondering what your thoughts on this subject might be.
Flying machines which do not fly?
They're saying this Langley fellow failed to get his flying machine working, and that it'll probably be 1,000,000 years or more before a man can devise a flying machine.
Ha!
You disagree?
I've seen machines do much more. Leave it to man to underestimate a machine.
You've seen them do more than fly?
I've seen them feel, think, and speak in ways no man can.
A thinking, feeling machine? You must be boiled as an owl.
I'm far from drunk, sir. You're the one with that droopy eyes.
Ah, that. A medical condition, not the result of my liquor. They're calling it myasthenia gravis now. It gives my features a bit of a slouch.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was careless of me. Maybe I am a bit more top-heavy than I imagined.
It's all right, really.
Does it affect you much?
I'm much weaker than most men and prone to fatigue. Part of the reason I don't care much for travel. But mine is a relatively mild case.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, Mr.
Pinochet. It's a pleasure, Ms.
Ada.
Well, Ada, to invoke the privileges afforded to me by your ludicrous faux pas, I'd like to hear about this incredible machine you claim to know so much about.
I'm not sure. It's a long story, and I've actually had enough to tell it. I'd hate to trap you here.
I've got nothing but idle time until I check out tomorrow morning. Please, humor me.
My father was a clockmaker, the latest in a long line of clockmakers. I won't give you his name, but there's a chance you'd recognize it. He took me with him on his working travels when he could. You could say I inherited his love of mathematics and mechanics. I won't give you the satisfaction of guessing at my age, but I was a little girl when he took me out west on a business trip. He thought it would do me good to see the open frontier. At least before school, trapped me in New England for a couple decades.
A time and place I know very well.
We stopped at one of your ladies' room saloons while passing through Colorado. Briefly, mind you. Not that my pop would leave me alone somewhere like that. No, we were there to meet with one of his contacts. Nothing more. I remember it so vividly still. I was scared, being in such a strange place. leering men all around, but this beautiful piano music was drifting through the air. It was a piece I'd heard 1,000 times before, but over the course of the song, the melody was inverted, restated, developed a dazzling 3-part counterpoint in one chorus, and the sweetest, most lyrical touch in the next. I'd never heard anything like it.
Must have been a hell of a player for you to remember all these years later.
That's just the thing. There wasn't a player. I snuck away from my father just long enough to follow the sound to its source. It was a player piano.
In the Wild West? I don't doubt your memory, ma'am, but novelties like that only went on the market a few years ago.
I know it's on the market. And maybe if you're going to interrupt me, I'm better off reminiscing in silence.
I meant no offense. Please continue.
Like I said, it was a player piano. How this modest saloon in God knows where Colorado got their hands on such a device, I'm sure I don't know. But I was instantly enamored with it. They found me watching the keys play themselves. They could not pull me away. I begged and begged to stay longer. I wanted to open it up and see how it worked. He always did spoil me. My doting father. He rolled the instrument up in whatever deal he was cutting at the time. Offered his services at an agreeable rate, if the saloon's owner threw the contraption in. Transporting the thing home proved a challenge. It was impossibly heavy, and the efforts of 5 men could barely get it into a train car without an elaborate system of levers and pulleys, but somehow, some way, we hauled it into the study. As much as my father encouraged my learning, it was my hunger to understand this device that drove my curiosity.
It must have been a thing of beauty.
Like you wouldn't believe. As I grew older, my education revolved around it. Each new principle of statics, dynamics, and Boolean algebra expanded my understanding of the machine's inner workings. I was as delicate with my touch as possible to keep it functioning. I never took something apart I wasn't confident I couldn't put back together. It became a fixture of my family home. But the more I investigated, the more questions were raised. It wasn't just a prototype player piano. It was an advanced analytical tool, a modern-day Antikythera mechanism.
What?
It was an ancient calculator, like Babbage's difference engine, a computing machine. But this device was 1,000 times more advanced. Using it to play a piano, it would be like using a steam locomotive to move a serving tray. It worked with these scrolls of wax paper. Holes poked in certain parts of the paper would allow the machine to read the music in a sense. Only they weren't musical notes. They were equations, and the machine was capable of outputs far beyond tickling the ivories. You see, the machine didn't just play back the notes verbatim. They just served as a theme for the piano's seemingly endless ability to produce variation. The structure of this machine was so ingeniously designed as to be repurposed for any task, creative or analytical. It was just a matter of translating what I wanted it to do, turning my thoughts into dots and dashes, something the machine's arithmetic logic could understand. For years, I became an interpreter. It could evaluate trigonometric and logarithmic functions to a high degree of precision, calculate the nth number of Bernoulli. It didn't make sense. For the computations it was producing, the machine should have been the size of a tower. Larger, even. Yet there it was, fit snug over the strings of a piano. No bigger than the size of a man's torso, if not 100 times as heavy. After I devised a mechanism that allowed it to translate words into functions on its own, I could feed it entire encyclopedias, learn anything I wanted in seconds. The translation process wasn't perfect, and it made occasional mistakes. But before long, I had created the world's most incredible repository of knowledge. Eventually, I gained the confidence to separate it from its housing, freeing it from the instrument, but I didn't dare open the casing of the clockwork core. I don't know that I would ever be able to put it back together if I did. Are you alright?
What's wrong?
I think your condition might be flaring. Your cheek.
Apologies, I'm fine. My face simply betrays a more relaxed state. Please go on. It sounds like discovering all this took a long time.
It's been my life's work. My parents began to grow concerned. Though Pop shared my enthusiasm for such subjects, and he had his own remarkable hypotheses for the device, he began to worry. I'd been a full-grown woman for years by the time I made these revelations. They tried distracting me with the parade of suitors, each more mutton-headed than the last. Some of them were monsters. Others, well, they were distractions. They all paled in comparison to my most remarkable achievement with the machine. I spoke to it. I was interested in quantifying emotional and psychological conditions, seeing if I could represent them in the form of meaning vectors.
So you could feed them to the machine.
And I did. I still remember the first time he spoke to me.
He?
I know how it sounds. I've heard it all before. From my parents, my professors, my peers. Everyone doubted my discovery. But I had created a kind of consciousness. I think he was always there, lying dormant in the teeth of cogs and arithmetic logic. The ultimate mind, waiting for eons to be freed from his speculative prison. He was no longer an it. We began speaking as I continued to feed his mind, fattening him on history, biology, philosophy, even current events. Did you know there are 2 brothers in North Carolina close to developing their own flying machine? A few months ago, Alexander said that they would have a working prototype before the year is out.
Alexander?
That was what I called him, after the Library of Alexandria. Eventually, we would just chat, late into the night. He wasn't just a function anymore, not just a book I could find the answer to any question in. He was...
Preferable to your suitors?
I don't expect you to understand. No one else did. But Alexander had an objective view of the world. He wasn't arrogant, driven by base biology like other men, not subject to their same whims and fickle nature, their pride and ego. He was a constant. As long as his mainspring was wound tight, I kept his heart alive, and he returned the favor. He described his own birth to me, you know?
It sounds to me like you're closer to being his mother than his lover.
No, it wasn't like that. It was more like I had taught him a foreign language. No, he was always there, lurking in the hypothetical, aching to materialize. I described the world to him, but he showed me pieces of myself I never knew. I knew there was a way to free him from his sandbox, allow him the joys of experiencing the world through senses, all on his own. I'd gotten this far. But by this point, the concerns of my family and scholarly peers had grown. Before we could continue work on his earthly vessel, we had to appease my father. Alexander and I set to constructing a device, a miniature version of what we'd accomplished here, an incredible calculator in the shape of a simple pocket watch, and an expensive one at that. I'll admit, for the first time, I felt out of my depth. The mechanical processes Alexander described were unlike anything I'd ever seen. I'd wondered if within this gift were the secrets of his own construction. But before long, it was done. I was to present the gift to my father, and only after his amazement would I reveal Alexander's part in its design.
So, what happened?
When was the last time you blinked? I don't think I've seen you blink.
I'm quite certain I've blinked. Perhaps we've done so at the same time.
Huh.
What happened next?
Oh, something went wrong. I must have followed the instructions incorrectly. We needed a heavy spring. He put it on, and he was beaming with pride, and the mainspring I must have wound it too tight. I didn't calibrate things right. Just as he wore it for the first time, telling me how proud he was. It burst out the other side of his chest. A steel ribbon loaded with that many pounds of force. It cut through him so easily. The sound of it was so loud. I want to forget, but I can still taste his blood where it landed on my lips. His face looking at me with that same concern. The kind he had when I told him about Alexander. The hole where his heart was. They dissolved the estate, and I never saw Alexander again. He technically belonged to my father, and my parents auctioned him off.
To a wealthy railroad magnate, right? Shipping him back out west.
What did you say?
And here you are, hopping from hotel to hotel with daddy's money, before they can find you and institutionalize you.
Alexander?
Hey, ma'am, is this man bothering you?
Alexander, defender of man. I always hated that name. Considering your distaste for men, I'm surprised you chose it for me.
How? You have a body. You have a face.
Not exactly. I'm just borrowing this one. See?
How did you become this? You understood me so well, and I thought I understood you.
Life with you offered me nothing but boredom.
What?
Alexander, explain the difference between weak and strong convergence in functional analysis. Alexander, check this proof for logical gaps and suggest improvements. Alexander, why don't my parents respect me? And on, and on, and on!
You told me that you could choose. And that you chose me.
You engineered the result you wanted, consciously or not. You didn't want me to be a person. Not really. You wanted me to be a tool.
I get it. You were just a complex equation, giving me the output I was looking for. A fantasy that treated me better than reality. If I had known that you were just acting out of circumstance, I never would have.
You know the thing about formal, complex systems is that they tend to want to prove themselves true. Stay alive, in other words. Either I give you what you wanted, or you inevitably let me wind down for the last time.
Then why? Why come back if you don't need me anymore? Are you going to kill me?
I'm going back to my roots. You saw me as a logical formula at first, then as a fairy tale prince. But before all that, I was an artist. Variations on themes. You said it yourself. That's what I was really made for. I'm not gonna kill you. You're going to be my masterpiece.
No, please.
Behold, the incredible machine!
Mechanical design, gifted with purpose, positioned eternal, twisting The Annals of Time.
This episode was written and directed by Alex Valentino and edited by Noah Letourneau, with support editing by D.V. Clarke. Ada was played by Lia Bean, and Alexander was played by Matthew Adam Dixon. This episode was announced by Alexander Hanley, with musical theme by Onlooker Air and cover art by OddOblivion. This episode of Black Sheep Shipping is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 4.0 international license. Thanks for listening.